Activision tells shareholders that due to the success of Call of Duty Mobile, Diablo Immortal, yes, we're going right back to where it all started from today, folks, was indeed a good idea. Well, maybe for the shareholders, but that doesn't necessarily mean for the actual players, does it now? And also, Blizzard lured a return of people to their various games over the course of the COVID lockdown. However, their MAUs are telling a completely different story. But before we go into all of that, this, ladies and gentlemen, is my crowdfunded comic recommendation of the week. Am I doing this weekly now? It looks like it, possibly. And this comes from Camel Moon, and it's Hail Salad. If you are aware of this, Camel Moon have a YouTube channel themselves. They put out a little 5-6 minute cartoon called Hail Salad, which has all your favourite characters from Comicsgate in it. We've got EVS, we've got Cecil, we've got Dan Frager, we've got Venga, we've got your boy Zach. We got Anna, and they're all put in completely weird and wonderful situations, very surreal, very funny indeed. And what they do is they take snippets from the Jack show and then they put it to this animated style, where they're bringing this animated style to comic book format. And in an age where we really need a good laugh, in an age where we need apolitical stuff, and we just want to read through something and piss ourselves, this is absolutely the comic for you. Some very affordable tiers as well as some really cool little stuff like these acrylic standees. They showed them off on my bagging, boarding and chatting stream yesterday. They look really good. Really good. Some nice t-shirts as well, if you want to get them. Ash cans and some sketches too. You can see them all here, as well as, because stretch goals have been hit, holographic stickers, which you'll just get for free anyway, that you can put onto various stuff. It's very much a throwback to the kind of 80s cartoons. It's going to be based around Homer's Odyssey, the Iliad, after the fall of Troy, but in this it's Troll. And it just looks like it's going to be really, really good fun. So I've put a top link in the description box down below to take you to this campaign. Please do give it some love. Speaking of love, let's talk about Activision. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Yesterday was the quarterly earnings report for Activision Blizzard, and it's very intriguing, shall we say, to listen to the type of lingo which is used towards shareholders, because, as you'll be aware, what's good for a shareholder isn't necessarily good for an end user, for a person who's purchased a video game or playing a video game. But these earnings reports are all about appeasing the shareholder. So when they talk about engagement, when they talk about revenue increase, when they talk about all of this, that, and the other, does that mean that the player themselves are getting a good experience? No, not necessarily at all. Now, they said in their earnings report that due to the success of Call of Duty Mobile, the decision to go into the mobile field was a very good one. Now, I don't think anyone has particularly argued that point. What people here in the West were kind of pissed about was Blizzard's IPs over the course of, well, 10, 15 odd years haven't developed at all. They've had great IPs like World of Warcraft, but since then, what have they brought to the table? Heroes of the Storm, which is now pretty much in maintenance mode. Overwatch, which, you know, I'd be disingenuous. I didn't say certainly catered to a marketplace, but that's it. There's been no real other IP that's been created, and that's what Blizzard used to be known for, creators of great IP. And when one of their IPs, like Heroes of the Storm, releases and fails miserably, then it kind of points to them chasing the market as opposed to being innovative. Now, when Alan Adam returned to Blizzard Entertainment, he came back with one very specific reason, and that was to target the Chinese mobile marketplace. And why was he brought on for that? Because China is a country that is literally brought up on microtransactions and monetization. So if you were to go into that marketplace, which is the biggest mobile marketplace at the moment, then if you strike rich with it, you're going to make a whole load of money. Problem is, that's not how gaming has worked in the West. And this is the business model which they want to try and apply to here in the Western sphere. And people are rejecting it. When we purchase video games, we want value for our money. We don't want to be nickeled and dimed. We want to be able to pay a set fee and play a game for that set fee. There are some companies which are still producing quality content for that money. Recently, we just had Ghost of Tsushima, and that is an absolutely phenomenal game. So what you get for your $60, your 50 quid UK, is absolutely value for money. No tag-ons that I want to get. I just want to play the game and do the story and do the exploration in these incredible worlds. But that's not what companies like EA, Activision, Blizzard, that's not what they want anymore. They want to be able to release a game, hopefully on the free-to-play system, and nickel and dime you every single solitary way. And even though these mobile games might get masses of amounts of users purely because they are free to play, the amount of people that are actually funneling money into it, and also what that would work out at per head, plus the vast whales which just churn money after money after money into it. And these people exist. There is a streamer whose name I will not mention because they're filth, who's currently embroiled in a bit of a tiz with detractors because they seem to be funneling a lot of their money into mobile games, a very specific mobile game without giving any proof whatsoever, even though people have provided lots of evidence to them that it's them, that they have funneled money that they have garnered from their supporters, from their followers, that they've said is going to go to taxes, that's going to go to other bills and such, purely into a mobile game. And people will spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pounds on these things. Tens of thousands in some cases. So those whales, when you spread it out across the number of actual users, don't necessarily equate to a large proportion. They probably equate to an absolute micro proportion of the actual player base themselves. But those are the people that they're trying to capture. Those are the people that they're trying to cater to. And be damned with anyone else's experience, really. So at the conference call, they said that due to the fact that Call of Duty Mobile, they'd got something like 150 million people had signed up to Call of Duty Mobile, because it was such a colossal number, a game like Diablo Immortal was actually a really good idea. Made, of course, in conjunction with NetEase, a Chinese company. Why? Because if you want to get into the Chinese marketplace, China gatekeeps its economy. The only way that you can do business in China is through a Chinese company. NetEase is that company that Blizzard use to push their games, whether it be World of Warcraft or whether it now be the upcoming Diablo Immortal. Now, of course, this was also announced back in November of 2018. This is what changed everything about this channel. And since then, we've heard very little, apart from NetEase, who said it's actually been ready for a long, long time. And then passed to Blizzard. Blizzard were very stum on it. And then in recent months have said that it's now gone into testing. And they're actually now going to push up the testing, coming up to some sort of release at some point. So what's necessarily good for the shareholder, what could be decent for the shareholder in a mobile game with a ton of microtransactions, doesn't equate to a good experience for the player. But Blizzard aren't going to give two hoots about a Western audience that rejects it if an Eastern audience gobbles it up and funnels a ton of money into it. In essence, we're not necessarily their marketplace anymore. It's been very clear for a long time now. But getting into that, let's just have a look at a couple of things. The MAUs for Activision is 125 million. This is massive. Only approximately a year or so ago, Activision's monthly active users was down to 37 million, something along those kind of lines. Then Call of Duty Mobile came along and it changed everything. Modern Warfare also did very well for them as well. The Warzone add-on, which is the Battle Royale add-on, has done very well indeed, driving... well, here we say, it universally increased 8-fold year over year with the introduction into this. Warzone brought in 75 million players. Warzone, of course, is free to play. You don't have to purchase Modern Warfare to do so. So MAU being driven by Activision are very much being done in the free-to-play area in the hope of snagging microtransactions. And it's pretty much it for Activision. We discussed, of course, going back now, the fact that they lost the Destiny IP back to Bungie. Bungie gained control of that again. And this was really the only IP that they had to rely on. Tony Hawk's was in the doldrums. Crash Bandicoot, even though the Crash Bandicoot Racing's done pretty well. It's not exactly what you call a franchise that's going to, drive the company forward. But they did what they did with Call of Duty. They released the mobile game and it proved to be exceedingly popular. And they pushed out the Warzone, which again proved to be exceedingly popular. When we have a look at the Blizzard Entertainment side of things, we get a very interesting story that's being painted here. They say World of Warcraft reach and engagement once again increase quarter on quarter as shelter-at-home conditions further boosted the franchise's strong trajectory following the launch of Classic last August. Now that's really interesting because recently some work was done, and since Classic released, World of Warcraft has seen a drop-off of 60%. Now, that's not necessarily Classic related at all. It's pretty much about Battle for Azeroth, which has been an absolute disaster of an expansion for Blizzard. So the way that they're phrasing things is particularly interesting. Anticipation continues for Shadowlands, the upcoming expansion, coming in Q4, November from what we hear, which makes Battle for Azeroth the longest running expansion for World of Warcraft. Engagement in the franchise is the highest it's been at this point ahead of an expansion in a decade. Again, very interesting use of wording here. That doesn't necessarily mean that things are good. I mean, when we come into the last patch of any expansion, there is a massive drop-off rate. And particularly in recent years, we've seen a significant one with things like Legion and Warlords of Draenor. Holy shit. The drop-off of that must have been absolutely diabolical for them. Mr. Pandaria as well. The last patch was with you for 14 months. So again, the drop-off would have been absolutely significant. And Cataclysm, which was the first World of Warcraft expansion that actually got quite a lot of criticism from the player base and lost a lot of people along the way. A lot of people in relation to how many people actually played World of Warcraft, but in the grand scale of things, compared to the other expansions which have followed, not so much. So exactly what engagement means doesn't necessarily mean players. It could mean the people who are actually still playing and the length of time that they actually play for. It's very, very manipulative lingo. And again, I'll support that in a moment. And Shadowlands saw an enthusiastic response from players in its public testing, with pre-sales accelerating further in Q2. Again, all that says is there has been more sales or pre-orders of Shadowlands in Q2 than Q1. But we don't know what these pre-order numbers actually are. As regards to enthusiastic response, again, who are you talking in relation to that? I've seen positive things come out from some YouTubers, but I've seen the very same YouTubers also be very critical of what is going on with certain aspects of Shadowlands 2, and very worryingly so. So again, what does this actually mean? It kind of feels a little bit like lip service. But let's go to the top here, because this is, to me, the very important aspect. Monthly active users, 32 million. Let's jump back a year ago. This is Q2 of 2019. What are Activision Blizzard... Well, what are Blizzard's MAUs? 32 million. Okay. So what's it in Q3 then? 33 million. What's it in Q4 then? It's back down to, where are we, Blizzard? 32 million. What was it in Q1? 32 million. For all of this expression of Overwatch saw a significant number of returning players. The Ashes of Outland expansion for Hearthstone launched alongside the first new hero class. An expanded team continued and accelerated the pace of innovative content. It's not bringing people to Blizzard Entertainment. In a year, they haven't budged on MAUs whatsoever. And if we look at Activision's MAUs, there we go. A year ago, 37 million. Then the next quarter, they were at 36 million. Then the next quarter, 128 million. And that, of course, is due to the introduction of Call of Duty Mobile. And then Q1, we see 102 million. And now, of course, we saw it back up to 125 million. So Activision is trying things at least to get people actively involved in their product. Blizzard can't do shit. Their IPs can't do anything. For all the people that it brings back, they lose. It's a stagnant company in terms of MAUs, and that can only sustain you for so long. People might be spending more money. The revenues might be up because of the stay-at-home COVID stuff, and that might absolutely be the case. But it doesn't mean that it's sustainable. If you can't grow your audience and you start filtering away other parts of your audience, you need the remainder to step up and up their expenditure. And that's not necessarily going to happen at all. Now, Q4, I mean, we have to go through Q3 in that meantime. But Q4, there should be a spike of some sort, surely, with the release of the Shadowlands expansion towards the end of November. But this is a company that just doesn't seem to be able to grow their monthly active users. And for Blizzard, that must be very concerning indeed, because as far as we're aware, there is bugger all IP on the horizon. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this grassroots video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.